All right, so we're going to be going over a live estimation. This is Lizzie's Luxury Lodge and Daycare. So if y'all don't know me, my name is Brad. I've been doing civil and dirt work excavation estimation for 5 years. I'd now teach everybody else how to do it. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to our civil plans. All this stuff typically is relatively important, but not for us. So here's our existing conditions and demo plan. Let's just take a look around real quick. Doesn't look like there's a ton. It doesn't say anything about clearing or anything throughout here, so I'm just not going to worry about it. All right, so here's where we can get into our first little bit of stuff. This is my site plan. And what I did already is I made some notes with this light duty concrete, heavy duty asphalt, all that kind of stuff. With how much base, because I don't do asphalt paving, but I'll lay all the base and stuff because I'll do all the grading. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to find my scale. So 1 inch equals 20 feet. I'm going to hit my all tools and find my measure objects measuring tool. Change my scale by right clicking. 1 inch equals 20 feet. Let's go ahead and double check our measurement. 19.56, close enough. All right, so first thing I want to do is I want to find the heavy duty asphalt, HDAP. So this says HDAP, so that's what I'm going to measure. I'm going to get to it, my area tool. I'm going to get a good little zoom in. And let's go ahead and trace. So this is just a quantity takeoff. I'm not going to be showing any pricing or anything like that, but if you're new to bidding off of plans, I think this is a very beneficial thing for you. What happens a lot of the times is the people that I come across that we work with are typically guys that were operators for a while and they wanted to go out on their own, and they know how to do a lot of the work, but they don't know how to figure out how much they need and manage the jobs and all of that stuff. So this is typically where we come in and we're like, hey, here's some stuff, here's some videos. If you want us to work with you, we can come into your company and we'll train everybody or whoever you need. So let's go ahead, just outline all this stuff. Oops, wrong way. Nothing remarkably difficult going on, but this is all the necessary evils to be able to figure out how to price a job. So I come here, I come across. So after we do this heavy duty asphalt, I think I remember it being 8.5 inches of base. So what we got to do is a little bit of conversions. Go ahead and follow this little concrete island. It doesn't have to be remarkably exact, but try and get as close as you can. Typically the drives are always heavy duty and then the parking spots are light duty. And connect. So we're at 164,450 basically. So I'm going to go ahead and take my pen, 164,450. Now, I'm going to pull up my calculator real quick. Let's see, calculator. So 16,400. What is that? 16,450. So 16,450. Now, I have it written down here that for our asphalt, it has 8.5 inches of compacted DGA base. So if you don't know what 8.5 inches is, I'm going to do 8.5, divide that by 12, because there's 12 inches in a foot and we have 8.5 inches. 708. So I'm going to do 16,450 times 0.708 equals this. Now this is my cubic feet because we have length and width throughout all of this. This is my cubic feet. I'm going to divide by 27 That's going to give me my cubic yards. Now, we have to hit a compaction percentage. So with typical crushed stone, I use about 50% more. So I multiply by 1.5. So I'm going to need about 647 tons for the heavy duty asphalt. So I'm going to go ahead and make a note, 647 tons, HDA. So now we just do the same thing. I'm going to go back through, I'm going to find all these light duty spots, and I'm going to measure them out. Light duty concrete paving. I missed a little bit on here, but that's okay. Some of this ADA stuff gets a little bit complicated because they want you to have real specific compliance stuff, but I don't typically worry about it because that's something that I can figure out in the field. Excuse me. So you can see I'm going a little bit into this curve. I don't think it's going to make that big of a difference. Looks like that might be all of our light duty. Yep. So now let's go back, hit my pan. So I'm going to go 1935, 1935. This one I'm going to put to 450 because I missed a little bit, so 450 square feet. I'm going to round up to 930, and I'll come over here, 1110. So again, I do everything the same. Pull up my calculator again. So I got 1935 plus 450 plus 930 and 1110. So now this is 8 inches. So I'm going to multiply that by 0.667 because that's my conversion factor. I divide that by 27. And again, I multiply by 1.5. So I get 164 tons. So 164 tons for light duty asphalt. Oh, that's concrete. My apologies. I'm going to go ahead and scratch that out and put light duty concrete paving, LDCP. I see. So this is concrete. This is asphalt. This is asphalt. This is asphalt. So I just removed my 450. So let's do this again. My apologies. So I got 1935 plus 930 plus 1110, 3975. So this is my 1935, my 1110, and my 930. Now I multiply that by 0.667 because 667 is 8 inches out of 12. Divide that by 27 and multiply by 1.5. So we have 147 of light duty asphalt paving. Well, since we're here, I can do my light duty concrete. My light duty concrete has 7 inches of base. It looks like this is my only section because this is heavy. So, well, yeah, because that's sidewalk. Sidewalk's probably got a real specific spec. Yeah. And I remember sidewalk doesn't have any base under it. So let's do our, let's just say that's 450. 450 times 7 inches. I forgot what 7 inches is, so I'm going to clear it. I think it's 517. 7 divided by 12, 583, yeah. So I can multiply that by 450 square feet, divide that by 27. Again, multiply by 1.5 as a conversion factor. So I need about 15 tons for light duty concrete paving. And then we hit one more measurement real quick for this heavy duty concrete. This looks like a dumpster pad. Boom, 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 boom. So what is this? About 590 square feet. So again, hit my 590 square feet, multiply it by 7 inches, which is 0.583. Divide that by 27, multiply that by 1.5. I'm at 19 tons for heavy duty concrete paving. So immediately on our site plan, we've already knocked out a pretty good bit of material, because when I'm doing all of the dirt, I want to be able to lay all of the stone too. Now, secret for me is in my bid and my exclusions, I put that I'm going to put it as close to 8 inches as I can, but the final grade has to be done by the pavers. That way I don't have to come in and worry about going through and really cutting everything specifically to how they want before they even get there. It's easier if you just let them do their finals. All right, so to keep moving, I'll go back to my pan. Down here at the grading and drainage plan. This is when stuff gets interesting. So I'm not going to do a total dirt takeoff, but I do want to notate all of the stormwater materials. So I'm going to go to my draw tool. I always just use this like purpley pink just because it's easy for me to see. And I just want to highlight what this is. So this looks like 2 sets of pipes, because we have one here and one here. It doesn't look like one individual pipe. I'm going to assume that it's 2. So again, right here we have a catch basin. If we want to figure out kind of what our elevations are, my rim is at 303.12 and my invert is at 300. So it's roughly 2.5 feet. I'm going to say it's more like 3 because there's going to be a base below this invert. So you have roughly a 3-foot catch basin. We have an end wall that we got to tie into. It looks like this is some kind of ditch that's going to either drain down to here. Yeah, these look existing. So it looks like it's just the 18 inches. Is there another inlet in the curb or anything? It doesn't show one. So it looks like this just goes straight out. There's an area inlet right here. It's probably plastic, and then we're just running 18 inches of RCP. So for my notes, I'm going to go 104. I'm just going to round up 104 times 2, 208. So I go 208 linear feet of 18-inch RCP, 1 3-foot catch basin. And I'm going to imagine that that's going to be a yard inlet because it's got a graded top, but it's going to be a double. So double yard inlet. And the names of things are going to vary, but typically yard inlets are like the metal grates with the slats on top that you set them on and the water can run into the grate. Now, I don't see any other stormwater materials in here. Yeah, it looks like just a bunch of grading. But again, I'm not going to do the dirt takeoff entirely for this, but I will do some more in the future. So let's just keep moving through here. We knocked out what we needed to with this. It doesn't look like we need any joints or anything, just straight up running and gunning. So here's all of our utilities. So again, I'm going to go ahead and notate all of these. That way, if I ever have to go back through the plans, I see everything very easily. We have fire hydrants, 8-inch C900, so that's water, 4-inch C900 water, 2-inch water service, 4-inch sewer service, manhole. Again, right here. So my invert is at 292, my rim's at 306, so that's a big manhole. I mean, that's like 14.5 feet. Siamese Fire Department connection, C900, 4 inches, water meter, 8-inch C900, and another hydrant. So they didn't give me the measurements on these, so I'm going to have to do a little bit of measuring from it. Again, it's not really anything remarkably difficult. I want to find my scale again. 1 inch equals 30. That's why you always check your scale, because it's different than the site plan. 30. I had this in inches. I need to put it in feet. Still works the same. So I'm going to do this water line first. I'm going to go to this perimeter tool because it lets me trace lines and then make like joints with them. So it looks like my water comes out to here to a hydrant assembly. That's 8-inch C900. I'm going to run down to here. Here's my other fire hydrant. I'm going to double click. Now I also have to connect to this existing 8-inch water main. So I'm going to run this to here. Connect. Now, before I tie into anything else, I've got a Siamese Fire Department connection. This is 4-inch water. So I'm going to run my 4-inch water down to here. Looks like it ties in off of this 8-inch, 171 feet. Now zoom in, get a good look real quick. So we've got the C900 going right here. And we have another one that's going to tie in. I'm just going to run it parallel to here because we kind of flubbed both of them, but that's okay. It's about 105 feet. So now again, I pull out my notes. I'm going to go ahead and do 8-inch C900 for my water. Going back towards my pan tool, 330 linear feet. And then I want to come and add my 77. I'm going to round up to 80 feet. And that's my 8-inch C900, 8-inch C900. Now when we come off of this fire hydrant, we're turning into 4-inch. So we have 4-inch, 4-inch. And I've got 102 and 170. The 170 is this U-turn though. So I'm going to do 4-inch C900. I'm going to round that up to 180 feet of C900. And then for our second line, I'm going to go 105 feet of 4-inch. Now our sewer, we just measure out our sewer real quick. Do we have to run this line all the way out? Looks like it. 390 feet of 8-inch PVC. That's good. And then 4-inch sewer. Let's just check the measurement on this 4-inch real quick. So we got 4-inch sewer. It is, let's just say 55 feet. Then we have 8-inch sewer. And it says down there 390. I'm going to go ahead and highlight that because that's kind of tough to see. Don't mind my incredible highlighting skills. 390 linear feet. Now let's go ahead and make sure we knock out all of the other things encompassed in the utilities, like the fire hydrants. So we have 1 fire hydrant, 2 fire hydrants. Do I see a third anywhere? Nope, 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 nope. So we have hydrant 2, Siamese FDC. We got 1. We got a water meter. This is a 2-inch water service. I see. I read that wrong. Oops. What's my length on this one? So I need to change that to a 2-inch water service. So that's 80 feet, 2-inch water service. That's why you pay attention and you highlight. So we got our hydrants. Let me get my water meter assembly. Water meter 1. Looks like we're going to have some joints coming off of this. So there's going to be a T right here. There's going to be a T right here. And then I got one manhole, and it's about 14.5 feet deep, 14.5 feet. All right, so there's our utilities knocked out real quick. Let me go ahead and make sure I don't forget to do this to tie into existing water main. It's probably going to be a wet tap unless they can turn the water off. Yeah, tapping sleeve and valve. So before we run away, I just want to run through the notes and make sure that there's not anything just particularly weird. Backfill all trenches with crushed stone or similar material beneath structures and or pavement. So this is a big one. That means that when you dig the trench, and you set the pipe in, the material above that pipe has to be crushed stone, which means the price of doing this pipe is going to be very expensive because you have to backfill with the stone, import it, you have to get rid of the dirt that gets dug out. It's just it just costs way more money. Tapping and inspection fees paid by the contractor, water meter fees paid by the owner. Makes sense. Testings. 10-foot distance, 811, easy. ASTM, so it's probably going to be SDR 26, which is like a standard pipe around here for us. Thermoplastic sewer, yeah. Minimum cover of 3 feet, very important. I mean, that pipe down there is going to get really far in the ground. All right, yeah, I think we knocked it out. Here's the rest of this. So it looks like, yeah, that's our first manhole. We have a second manhole right here. So let's do, it looks like 3 manholes. Let me just go ahead and highlight through this, highlight through this. Yeah, 390 feet total. So this one is about 11-ish. 11 foot 3. 11 foot 3 inches. And then this one is about 10 feet. Almost 11 feet. Yeah, about 11 feet. And 11 feet. So to calculate this, we're taking our rim, which is 294.89, and we're looking at our invert out, which is going to be our lowest point. But there is still a base, so the invert is typically higher because it's in the manhole, right? So the base underneath it is something that typically gets measured, but it depends on the manhole. I'm usually going to account for about 8 inches. So you'll see me plus or minus roughly a foot. That way I kind of, if I overestimate, it's easy for me to build it back up with stone. But if I underestimate it, it's hard to get a bigger manhole without spending a ton of money. So typically I drop this down to like 282, jumping up to 294, and that'll get me about 12 feet. It's just the rough estimation part. All right. We're back down here. This is our erosion control plan. This is a good one for us. Again, I'm going through, I'm just highlighting the stuff and making notes as I go. Temporary construction entrance, silt fence, 5x10 riprap, easy. This looks like a wattle. Yeah, wattle ditch check, wattle ditch check. Some riprap. Seems like everything. Do we have sod anywhere? Looks like this might be sod, these slopes. Inlet sediment barrier, so there's got to be one up here. Yep. I would imagine that this is all encompassing of sod. I'm gonna treat it like it is. It's probably in a note somewhere. All right, well, let's just count them. So we got 1 wattle, 2 wattles. That's it. So I'll go 2 wattles. 1 inlet protection. And then let's measure out our silt fence. Let's make sure our scale is correct again. We're at 1 = 30, measuring tool. 1 = 30. So now we hit our tracing. Again, I'm doing straight lines with turns, so I'm using the perimeter tool. Let's just run through it and knock it out. It's about 670 feet of silt fence. Again, 670 linear feet silt fence. We got our inlet protection, we got our construction entrance. So one construction entrance, easy. We got 5x10 riprap. So let's knock out the riprap. So we go 50 square feet times 2. It's 100 square feet. Divide that by 27. And now look, we're going to multiply by 1.8 because riprap is not like a remarkably compactable thing. It's just big stones. So it's not remarkably dense, so you have to use a lot of it. So that means we're going to get about 7 tons of riprap. Let's just go ahead and check all of our details real quick. So this is the kind of pre-work that I did. We got 8.5 base, 8-inch base, 7, 7. We got some concrete wheel stops in here, nothing really super serious. I should probably get the curb and gutters. These are all of my signs, my ADA ramps. Storm pipe, flexible, flexible, concrete. We're using concrete pipe, so we want to do this. This is a really, really important one. Yeah, so this is that yard inlet with the square grate. That's what I was talking about. Final backfill, previously excavated material. This is what we need though. Class 2 material, because the majority of this is under pavement. So if we go back to here, right, or is it this one? There we go. So the majority of this is under asphalt. So I'm going to go ahead and measure. What's my scale at? 30. I'm going to go ahead and make a measurement from here out to here. So it's about 88 feet. Let me make a note real quick. 88 linear feet. And it has to be compacted with 3 feet above the pipe. Now, this is when it gets cool. I'm going to go ahead and pull up my estimate template. If you guys haven't seen this or don't have it, send me a message on Instagram or join the Facebook group, Teach Me Dirt, and I will send it to you for free. This covers everything. We got our general conditions, we got our pipe charts, we got our labor and equipment, vendor lists, proposals, all this stuff. So look, with my pipe chart, I'm going to do 88 feet. My trench width for 18 inches, I'm probably going to do a 4 foot. My base, let's go ahead and check our base. Let's go back down to our detail. Get my pan tool real quick. Look, our base right here, hand tamp beneath haunches and compacted. So this doesn't give me a super big, it doesn't really tell me exactly how much it is. Typically it's it's about 6 inches. So I'm going to assume that it's 6 inches. So I go back to here, my base depth in feet is going to be 0.5. So what's cool about this is if you don't know what 6 inches is in feet, I can put 6 inches right here and it'll tell me how much it is. So if it's 10 inches, I would put this number right here. Easy money. Let me go ahead and put this back to 6. Now my pipe size in feet. So this is 18-inch RCP. So again, if I don't know what 18 is, I can do that. This is 1.5. I put 1.5 right here. My backfill height, I have to go 3 feet over the top of the pipe. So I go 3 feet over the top of the pipe. My compaction percentage, I'm going to lose about 20%. So I get this much. So my backfill tonnage for the 88 feet is going to be 55 tons. Does that make sense? Now what's different is with the pipe that does not go under there, under the asphalt, we don't have to do 3 feet of backfill. So if we come back to here, we can backfill just with dirt, with excavated materials. So out of the, what was it, 108 feet, we have 20 feet where we can just fill this back in regular how it is. So this number right here is going to be a little bit less. I'm going to make this about 70 tons for the pipe. 70 tons, 610 for pipe. So this gives us how much we need for our base. So we need 10 tons to cover just the 6 inches of base under all those pipes. Now let's do the same with all of our water and plastics. So here's our pipe sizes and what kind of thrust blocks that we need. So a thrust block is basically like when the pipe makes a turn, I want to put concrete behind it to make sure when the water's going through pressurized, it doesn't blow out of the corner. So you can see right here my concrete thrust block. This is just my concrete right behind that joint, making sure that that water doesn't fly out of there. Same thing with all of these. So with these sewer mains, I got concrete straight underneath the pipe, goes up to the spring line of the pipe. Spring line's basically halfway up the pipe. Here's our service connection. Plugs, runs in, ties into the Y. I mean, it's real straightforward. Here's our deep sewer details. Here's our manholes. Here's our manholes. I just want to make sure none of this is weird. Sewer pipe beneath the pavement and not beneath the pavement. Again, these are really important. Sewer pipe beneath the pavement. Again, you're going to see class 2 backfill, which is stone. Final backfill, class 2 material, which is also stone. So this is probably going to be clean stone, like a 57 size stone, which is 1 inch clean stone. This is probably crushed stone going to the top. But again, we see right here, we have to go clean stone over the top and then dirt over the top. So again, you have to check whether you're going under the roads. So let's go back up to our site plan or utility plan. Here we go. Again, our water only crosses in one section or 2 sections. Our sewer doesn't cross at all, so we're safe on the sewer. But the water, we do have to assume a little bit more. So let's go back down to our detail page. So look, water pipe bedding beneath pavement. "36 inches of cover below finished grade." So look, I'm going 3 feet up over the top of that pipe, at least. So let's figure out what that length of section was for that water line that crosses the asphalt. Then we can figure out the rest. So I'm going to go ahead, since I have all of these already written down, I can go ahead and delete these. I can delete this. And now we go back, we hit our measuring tool. So we have from here to here, 26 feet. From here let's just call it to here, 46 feet. Then we have water tying into this meter. 2-inch water coming all the way over into my service. Let me zoom in, I can't really see too well. Coming into my service right here. And then we have the fire department connection coming across to right here. So we got 50, let's just add these together. 50 plus 50 plus 46 plus 26. So we got 172 feet that we got to backfill all the way up. So again, if I want to be lazy, I can come into my pipe chart. I'll make those 172. My trench width's probably going to be 3 feet on this because the pipe's not super big. My base, I'm going to still stick with 6 inches. Backfill height's 3. Pipe size, I'm going to put them all at 8 inches, so 0.667. Backfill height's 3. compaction percentage is 20%. So we're going to need 115 tons just to do that one section. So I'm going to do 115 tons for asphalt water. And then for my 172, I want to figure out how much of that comes off of all of my water. So minus 330 minus 80 minus 180 minus 105. Make that positive. So we got 523 feet. 523 feet. 3-foot trench, backfill height 1 foot over the top of the pipe. Pipe size still 8 inches. Base depth half. We're doing 188 tons. So we got 188 tons for non-asphalt water. We didn't do the rest of the sewer pipes. Also, I think we didn't account for double. So it would be 104, 104, 208. It'd be 88 times 2. So 88 times 2, 176. Is what? I'm live on YouTube right now.
Okay.
Thanks. 3 half backfill height 1 3 feet 4-foot trench, and pipe size is going to be 18 and 18, so that'd be 36, that'd be 3, so I need 94. So that's under the asphalt. So that would be 90, 176, 88 and 88. So 208 minus 176, 32 feet. So I'm just going to round this up to about 108 tons. 108 total. So back to our plans. So we've got all of our bases. We've got everything figured out. For our concrete, we just have to figure out what we need based on what valves and joints we have. So we have a T right here, so we'll need concrete for that. We got a T right here, we're going to need concrete for that. That's a 2-inch turn, 4-inch. So it's a 4-inch 90, a 2-inch 90. So 1, 2, a T, a T. And it looks good. So we hit all of our bases, we hit all of our connections, we got to get all of our joints. All that stuff's pretty easy. Let's check all of this silt fence, wire back silt fence, very important. Let me go ahead and write that down. Wire backed. Construction entrance, these are all basically the same things. And seems like we have wrapped up minus the dirt takeoff. Again, run through all these nodes and make sure nothing's really going nuts with them. Seems pretty straightforward. Now the only step that's left is tying this into here. So I'm going to make my first item mobilization, 1 lump sum. Now I try to group everything based on kind of what they're used for. So I'm going to do base tonnage, base rock. Now let's add up our numbers. So I have 647 845 tons. Tons for my base rock. Let's go 18-inch RCP. (208 linear feet). 18-inch head wall, 1 each. Now I want to go back and double check something with this grading and drainage plan. That catch basin, that's what it was. 18-inch catch basin. Double 18-inch catch basin, 1 tie-in to existing. So the tie into existing is there's already plastic pipe coming in, so we're replacing that catch basin, and we still have to butt that pipe up into that catch basin and then run our pipes out, and that costs money, so I'm going to charge them. So let's move on to our next pipe. Let's go 8-inch C900, 330 linear feet. 4-inch C900, 180 plus 105 is 185 linear feet. Flow line, linear feet. 2-inch water service, 80 feet. So that our water meter assembly, 1 each. Hydrants, 2 each. Siamese fire department connection, 1 each. And I think that I have knocked out all of the water. Double, yep. Now we go 8-inch SDR 26, 390 linear feet. Sewer manhole, and I like to put in the depths kind of around here, so 11 feet to 15 feet, 3 each. There's our sewer. I forgot to have my service line. 4-inch sewer service, 55 linear feet. Let's hit our erosion control items. Wattles, 2 each. Those are usually 20-foot wattles. They're usually like 18 or 12-inch diameter. Inlet protection, 1 each. Silt fence, wire backed, 670 linear feet. Construction entrance, 1 each. And we need rip wrap. Actually, let's go 100-pound rip wrap, 7 tons. So we've inputted all of our items. Now, the thing with what I typically do is I'll make a note page right here, and I'll put how much base rock that I need for each of these like pipe items. I'm not going to run through it today, but this gives enough to where you guys can kind of know what's going on. You can see how the book works. You learned how the pipe chart works. You can tie in. So say like for this 18-inch RCP, where's that? I can come down here to my equipment cost, small pipe crew. This is exactly what I would use. I would use $322.80 an hour. So I'd come back here, I'd do $322.80, and I would multiply that by how many hours I think that it would take them to lay 208 feet. So I know my guys can lay close to 500 feet of 18-inch in a day. Now, I'm going to go ahead and give them 1 day, so I'll give them 10 hours to do it. Actually, no, I'll give them 6 hours to do it. So I press 6. My conversion's not going to work. 322.8 times 6, 1936.8. 1936.8. So now this is already giving me $12.50 with just my labor price. Now this is, the markup's 35%. You can boost that up to 50% if you want to. I'm making $900 on $1,900. It's pretty decent to me. Your pipe cost is typically going to be about $27.50 a foot, minus the rock. So on my 18-inch, we're going to need about 108. So let's go 108 tons. Let's just say we're getting it for $36 a ton, so 3888, and then plus 27.5 times 208 feet, 9608. So now we're sitting at $67.09. That's with me having a 15% markup on the materials. So I'll make 24 on 11, which most of it's just material costs, so it's not really that terrible. I can put that to 2. I make about 3 on 11. So that's going to hit you roughly that 30% profit. And I mean, your efficiency value could be definitely higher. I can make this a little bit more because I know that we're going to be not laying a ton. $70 a foot, that's probably going to be okay. I'll make 33 on 11. So all of this is just plug and play. If I come through here and I want to add my 2% overhead, say my staking, I'll put $1,500 in there. My testing, $1,500, and my porta potty, let's just put $250. You'll see down here, we start to increase in our prices. So we've got 3,000 extra, should be 3,200. Yeah, these all tie in. It's all very applicable. It's all very easy to use. It's all plug and play. I tried to make it as simple as possible for everyone. Again, that's this job taken off for you. Very quick, very easy. If you guys have any questions, feel free. Follow me on Instagram, add me, or join the group, the Teach Me Dirt group.